What's up everybody, and welcome to another Walkabout Minigolf guide here on Cloak Reaper Games. Today we're going over the hard version of Lair, the first course in the new Evil Lair series. New shots will always be found over time, and the course only came out yesterday, but we're going to go over some of the shots I've found so far. I do already have at least one hole-in-one shot for 17 out of the 18 holes though, and they're not all 1 in 1,000 shots either. Keep in mind when I give an estimated power level for a shot, it may feel a little different to you than it does to me based on different putter strength. I like to keep mine at about 85%, but you should play with whatever you feel most comfortable with. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. Hole 1, you're probably going to go right next to the cup or stop right short of the cup a lot more often than you actually get into it. It's a tough one. But we're going to go under the first laser and bounce over the second one actually. But if you look right here, there are two little dots. I know they're hard to see to go over. And to remember where they are, you can just look at that little piece of trash right there, come back and find those two dots because they're always right behind it. You got to hit this one pretty hard so that you get the pop. But it is actually a relatively safe shot once you've tried it a few times. We're going to pop under this laser, jump over that one, hit the wall, and go into the cup though. It's probably about a 5 or 6 on the power. Hole 2 is a relatively simple one. It's all about your weight. I like to just do it nice and easy, very simple, and just dodge the first two lasers, drop down into the cup. I try to stay middle to low on this hill and not go so high, and that way you can hit with a little extra power so your ball stays straight a little bit longer, and then drop down in the cup once you reach the middle. So this one is a bank, and it's a little bit safer because you're sending it with such speed you can go right past the lasers or even jump over them like we do here. But you're going to hit a couple kind of squares into this wall. You can see the little segments of squares there in the curves. You're going to hit a few into that and that'll bank you right into the cup. If you hit it hard enough, you'll just go straight over and the hill won't really mess with your line at all. Hole 3 is probably the easiest hole-in-one on the course. You maybe even got it by accident already. So all we're going to do is bank on the second step up, anywhere really on the first 3 lines back. I like to aim at the top of the second or third line, and I hit the ball when the laser is just about to come up onto the step that we're going to go on. As long as you get there without a crazy amount of power and just roll down the side of the wall, it should go in the cup every time. Hole 4 is a fun one. It's got a couple different ways to go about it. I think this is probably going to be the one I do the most. We'll see. But it's a triple bank, and if you look right over here to the left, there are 2 dots right here, and we're going to go over the left dot at a pace of about a 6. And our timing is going to be just before the laser is about to hit the block coming back towards us. Right there. And what we're actually banking into over here is that one right there. So this one is a double bank, and you're gonna kind of have to feather the pace on this one. Same timing with the laser as before. And we're gonna be using the same 2 dots to aim, but this time we're gonna be going on the right side of the dots. Just like that. Pace is about a 4.5 or a 5 this time around. Just try both shots, figure out which one you can do the most consistently, which one you're most comfortable with, and stick with that one. But this should be a hole-in-one you can get at least probably 50% of the time. With some practice. Everything's with practice on this game. Keep that in mind. So there are a couple ways to get the hole-in-one here as well. This triple bank might actually end up being the most consistent one. But right over here to our left, there are going to be, guess what, a couple of dots, and we're going to roll right over those 2 dots. right over here to your left, and there's a piece of trash right there again, and if you come straight back from that trash towards your ball, you'll always be able to find these 2 dots. Run right over those with a pretty good pace, about a 6 or so, and this should give you the line to put you in the cup each time as long as your pace is good. And you can see the timing is actually right after I see the laser pass my ball going towards the cup. So right here, like that. Just as it's about to pass over that circle through to the cup. Here we're doing basically the same shot, but taking out one bank and hitting it from the opposite side. So if you look at the base of this light post right in front of us here, and then follow it back down towards the ball, you'll find yet another little grouping of dots right here. And we're going to hit those dots and bank it over to the left, off the wall, and into the cup. We do still have another way to get this hole-in-one though, so just figure out which one you like the best and go for it. By far the most simple way to get this hole-in-one, but also the most fickle. Power needs to be on point for this one. We also get our easiest to see dot though, so we're going to go right between these 2 dots right here. Weight again is very much what matters on this one, even more than your line. You can have your line be a little bit off and still get in as long as your weight is on absolute point. But just check out all 3 of these and decide which one you like the best and go for that one. This is going to be a tough one to get every time. Not because it's inconsistent, but just because it's tough to get. Power's got to be just right. I came up just right in front of the cup and didn't drop in many times before I finally got it in there. But if you look right here, we're going to go over some dots. Grab that little speck on the ground there, pull it back towards your ball, and you'll find these 2 dots right here. Hit those pretty hard. This one's probably about a 7 to bank all the way around and into the cup. And this is a pretty safe shot too, because like I said, most of the time you'll come short of the cup and you should miss the lasers. And you can also get this hole-in-one going straight down towards the curb instead of banking off here, but you have to hit a much sweeter spot to get it to go just right and into the cup. So for this one, we're going to bank off the left, catch air as we go down the hill, hit the wall, and bounce back up into the wall again and down into the cup. So if we look down here, there's going to be a pretty easy to see dot, and you can aim just a few inches back from that dot and bank there, or you can come back down a little bit down the shadow here and see a grouping of dots and use that little group of dots there to aim. If you're somebody who is like me and likes to use grouping of dots to aim their shots. A couple ways to get this hole-in-one. My preferred is just the simple one, just straight ahead. And you can see the hill doesn't even mess with your line, just goes straight. As long as you don't roll down it and you have enough speed, just drop off of it. Timing is actually a lot more wide than I gave it here too. My ball was rolling really fast. You can roll it a lot slower, get in there without even getting close to the laser. But just straight shot. This one's a little bit more difficult with the timing, but here's the bank for those of you who prefer the bank shots. So there's a dot right here that's pretty easy to see, and you can just go a couple inches left of that, or there are 2 other dots right here that you can run right over, but they're a lot more difficult to see. But just hit that, bank left, and into the cup. This is going to be one of the ones where you get close to the hole a lot of the time, but don't get in it all the time. It's probably going to be one where you can get really close, like 7 out of 10, but only get in it more like 2 or 3 out of 10. But there's a little line right there in the carpet, and we're going to go right over that line at a high speed of about a 7 maybe even an 8. And you can use that black tile over there, come back towards your ball to find this line in the carpet. But you just got to get the right bounce to go in the cup. You'll get next to it a lot of the time. Just got to get that right bounce though. I don't have footage of this one being a hole-in-one, but I'm sure you can do it. I hit the cup multiple times and rolled right next to it, but you just go right between those two dots there, maybe a little bit right of the middle of those two dots. And like I said, I hit the cup many times, but I hadn't gotten it to go in there yet. But I'm sure it's possible, and it's a safe shot to get you over there, so worth keeping an eye on. Now this is a pretty cool one, and it didn't take as many tries as you would think. I actually got pretty close almost every time, but we're just going to hit it pretty good, about a 5.5 or a 6, and land right before or on this hill right here, and that'll give you the pop to jump over and over towards the cup. And you want to aim at this, call it laser dispenser, just a little bit to the right over the top of it, or a bit more to the right, just in that general area, because you're not getting an exact bounce or bank, you're getting a general bank to hopefully come back into the cup. But you can get it, I'm thinking, pretty often. Of course it's still new, so time will tell. So for this one, we're going to do a double bank into the cup. This one is a little bit more risky because if you miss, you're probably going to get killed by the laser. But right here on the left side, there's a little light spot on the carpet against the wall here. And we're going to bank right off of that light spot, about a 3.5 or a 4. And that should put you in the cup. Like I said, this is a little bit risky, but it's definitely consistent. So here's a simple one bank into the hole, but this one is a lot less forgiving with your weight. Your weight needs to be on point or you're going to miss and hit the laser. But there is a dot that is a lot more visible to use to aim. It's right here. I'd say the weight on this one's probably about a 4.5. Like I said, it's very specific on this one though. But we still have one more hole-in-one shot for this hole to look at. This triple banker I like a lot more than the others, I think. And if you hit this one soft, this can be your safe shot too. But right there between that dot and that wall, right in the middle there, that's our line. And we're going to hit this one pretty hard, about a 6.5 or so. Start off with the simple straight putt. Luckily we do have some dots to help us out here, and they are right under this second laser right here. There are 2 dots and we want to go right through the space between those 2 dots, and that should put you right in the cup. Timing is going to want you to start your backswing while the lasers are still in front of you and be hitting the ball just as they're disappearing. Now for our bank shot, we have a double bank that'll put you right into the cup. And if you look on your left at this rug right there at that point, we're going to aim straight at that point. There is also a dot, not going to go right over it though. There's a dot right here, and we're going to aim just to the right of that dot, about 2 or 3 inches. And power levels probably about a 5, and same timing as the first shot. So start your backswing while the lasers are in front of you. Now this is the one hole I was not able to find a hole-in-one on, so if you found one, let me know what it is in the comments. And this is super risky going for this anyway. This is not an easy shot to pull off. Line and power have to be absolutely perfect. But we're going to be hitting that board just as it's about to stop blocking the laser right in front of us. Get the weight just right to roll on through where the cup is. If you can find the hole-in-one here though, let me know, because this is the only one I wasn't able to discover. So this isn't as impossible as the timing makes it seem. You can actually get this at least by the cup almost every time. but we're going to aim right at the edge of that rock right there. The hard part on this is actually the power rather than the timing, because you have to hit it just hard enough to reach the cup without hitting that last laser, and that's the tough part, because 9 times out of 10 I could get through there no problem, but I would stop an inch, 2 inches short of the cup. So I missed this hole-in-one probably 20 times just being an inch short of the cup. The power's pretty tough. You can see how close it gets to hitting that last laser, so you gotta have it just right, but it's actually a pretty safe shot. Once you practice it a little bit, you could use this to get just a couple inches away from the cup every single time. This is one of the toughest hole-in-ones of the course. It's also one of the ones where you'll get really close to the cup a lot of the time, but only actually get in the cup pretty rarely. Luckily the line isn't super complicated. Timing is tough though. So our line is just slightly right of straight. It's almost a completely straight shot. Just a little bit right, and I like to hit when the left row of lasers is coming to the right towards my line, right before it hits the center, and hit it hard. Hope for the good bounce and into the cup. If you don't get the bounce, you have probably a 50-50 chance of going through to where the cup is, and the other 50% is you're going to hit a laser and get cut in half. This one's one of the ones probably where you get it one time and then you just do the safe 2 from then on. Now your safe-ish 2, which can't say there probably really is a super safe shot for a 2 on here, but this is probably about as safe as you're going to get. Just right next to the wall and right before your timing gets cut off by the lasers. And this one's probably about a 5.5 or a 6 on the power. Not crazy hard like the first one, but decently hard. And it'll get you through there consistently as long as your timing is right. But it's tough to do. Once you get it though. This one's kind of random. This was actually on the first try, believe it or not, but you can bounce this in a lot of different ways. I did it a few different ways. Just gonna aim to the right between these first 2 lasers though. Hit it at about a 5 or so that you get a good pop and jump over there to the cup. And you can come off of the computers on the back there and into the cup, just go straight in, or I actually even dunked it one time. It's mostly random, this one, just gotta send it to the right with a decent bit of power. So for 17, we're just gonna bounce down after the first laser, take a second bounce, hit the wall, and come back into the cup. And you don't really need to use dots for this one, but there are 2 dots right here, and if you go over the dot on the right, that'll be your line to hit the wall and bounce back. Power is gonna differ a little bit, so if you hit on the right with a little bit more speed, you can get on the cup. If you hit a little bit more to the left with a little less speed, you can get in the cup. So it all just depends on your power, but you want to go a little bit right, hit the ball, come back into it. Hole 18 is a pretty easy but very cool hole-in-one. We're just going to go straight ahead, a little bit to the left, but pretty much straight ahead at a decent pace, and send it on down there. But I hope this helps you out, and hopefully you can get a lot of hole-in-ones on the new Laser Lair course. And there are always new shots coming out, and like I said, the course just came out yesterday, so you're probably going to see a lot of new shots over time that weren't here. I may do an updated one later with a lot of new shots and just more shots on getting like 2s and 3s on some of the harder holes, just to help you get a better under par score. But hope this helped you out. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.